Hey everyone, welcome back to Technically You.
This is part two of our deep dive into infrastructure as a service, or IaaS.
Yeah, in part one, we covered the fundamentals, what IaaS is, how it works, the core components, major benefits and challenges, common use cases, and how to decide between IaaS and traditional infrastructure.
Right? And we got some great questions and comments after part one dropped, so we know people are really thinking through whether IaaS makes sense for their situations.
Exactly. So in this episode, we're going to tackle the practical implementation side of things. If you've decided IaaS is the right move, how do you actually make it happen?
We'll be covering hybrid and multi-cloud strategies, migration approaches, how to manage and monitor your cloud infrastructure, cost optimization techniques that actually work, and where IaaS is heading in the future.
And we're going to get into some real talk about security and compliance, because that's where a lot of companies stumble when moving to the cloud.
Absolutely. This is the "Okay, I'm sold on IaaS, now what" episode. The rubber meets the road, practical stuff.
So whether you're planning a migration, already running on IaaS and looking to optimize, or just want to understand how this all works in practice, this one's for you.
Quick reminder, if you haven't listened to part one yet, go back and check that out first. We're building on those foundational concepts, so you'll want that context.
All right, let's pick up where we left off and dive into hybrid and multi-cloud strategies.
Okay, so let's dive into the meaning of a hybrid and multi-cloud strategy and what one actually looks like.
Well, hybrid cloud means using both on-premises infrastructure and IaaS together. Maybe your core database stays on premises for performance or compliance, but you run web servers in the cloud for scalability.
How do you connect them?
Through VPN connections or dedicated network links that securely connect your data center to the cloud. All the major cloud providers offer these services. Multi-cloud means using multiple cloud providers, maybe Amazon Web Services for some workloads, Azure for others, Google Cloud for specific services. This avoids vendor lock-in and lets you use the best service from each provider.
Doesn't that make things more complex?
Much more complex. You're dealing with different interfaces, different pricing models, different security models. But it gives you negotiating leverage with vendors and protects you if one provider has an outage. The trend now is toward hybrid multi-cloud, a mix of on-premises and multiple cloud providers. It's the most flexible, but also the most complex to manage.
If a company decides to move to IaaS, how do they actually make that transition?
There are several migration strategies. The simplest is rehosting or lift and shift. You basically copy your existing servers into the cloud with minimal changes. It's fast, but doesn't take advantage of cloud capabilities.
So you're running the same old applications, just on cloud VMS instead of physical servers?
Right. Next is replatforming, making some optimizations during migration. Maybe you move from self-managed databases to cloud-managed database services. You're not completely rewriting applications, just making tactical improvements. Refactoring or re-architecting means redesigning applications to be cloud-native, breaking monoliths into microservices using serverless functions, designing for auto-scaling. This takes the most effort but gives you the most benefit. There's also repurchasing, switching to a different product, usually SaaS. Instead of migrating your custom CRM to the cloud, you switch to Salesforce. And retiring, deciding some applications aren't worth migrating and just shutting them down.
What's the typical timeline for migration?
It varies wildly. A simple lift and shift of a few applications might take weeks. A complete enterprise migration could take months or years. Most companies do it in phases. Migrate low-risk applications first, learn from that, then tackle more critical systems.
Once you're running on IaaS, how do you manage and monitor everything?
This is critical. Cloud environments are dynamic. Resources come and go, scale up and down. You need comprehensive monitoring and observability. All major providers offer native monitoring tools: AWS CloudWatch, Azure Monitor, Google Cloud Operations. These let you track metrics like CPU usage, memory, disk I/O, network traffic.
What should you be monitoring?
Resource utilization. Are your VMS over or underutilized? Performance metrics, response times, throughput, error rates, cost metrics. Which resources are costing the most? Security events, failed login attempts, configuration changes, unusual network activity. You want alerting set up so you're notified immediately when things go wrong. A VM becomes unhealthy. Costs spike unexpectedly. Someone makes a risky configuration change. Many companies use third-party tools like Datadog, New Relic, or Splunk that work across multiple cloud providers and give you a unified view. Automation is also key. Use infrastructure as code tools like Terraform, CloudFormation, or Ansible to define your infrastructure in code files. This makes it repeatable, version-controlled, and less prone to human error.
Before we wrap up, where is IaaS heading? What's the future look like?
We're seeing several trends. First is continued abstraction. Cloud providers are offering more managed services that abstract away even more complexity. The line between IaaS and PaaS is blurring.
So less manual management.
Right. Second is edge computing. Instead of everything running in massive central data centers, compute is moving closer to where data is generated. Think IoT devices, 5G networks. IaaS providers are building edge infrastructure. Third is AI and machine learning integration. Cloud providers are embedding AI into infrastructure management, automated optimization, predictive scaling, anomaly detection, security threat identification. Fourth is sustainability. Major cloud providers are committing to carbon neutral or carbon negative operations. They can achieve economies of scale in renewable energy that individual companies can't. Fifth is specialized hardware. We're seeing custom chips designed for specific workloads. Amazon Web Services, Graviton processors, Google's TPUs for machine learning, specialized instances for video transcoding or genomics.
So IaaS is becoming more specialized and intelligent?
Exactly. And finally, multi-cloud management tools are maturing, making it easier to use multiple providers without the complexity multiplying.
All right, it's time to bring this home. So if someone's trying to decide whether IaaS makes sense for their business, what should they consider?
Ask yourself these questions. Do you need flexibility to scale quickly? Do you want to avoid large upfront capital expenses? Do you need global reach without building infrastructure everywhere? Do you have variable or unpredictable workloads? If you answer yes to most of these, IaaS probably makes sense.
What if someone's just getting started?
Start small. Most cloud providers have free tiers that let you experiment without cost. Launch a simple VM, try out some storage, get familiar with the interface. Take advantage of training resources. AWS, Azure, and Google all offer free training and certifications. Understand the shared responsibility model. Know what the provider handles and what you're responsible for. And before you migrate anything critical, do a proof of concept with non-critical workloads to learn the ropes.
Any final thoughts on cost management?
Yes. Enable cost monitoring from day one. Set up budgets and alerts. Review your spending monthly and look for waste. The cloud's flexibility is its greatest strength and its biggest danger. It's easy to overspend if you're not paying attention.
Perfect. Well, that's infrastructure as a service, everyone. Hopefully you now understand what it is, how it works, and whether it's right for your needs. Thanks for spending time with Technically You.
As always, stay connected, stay safe, and stay curious.